At the end of 2025, Oxford University announced that its word of the year was rage bait. As Oxford describes it, rage bait... Come on, give me a break. I kind of have to give their definition for context. As they describe it, rage bait is online content deliberately designed to elicit anger or outrage by being frustrating, provocative, or offensive, typically posted in order to increase traffic to or engagement with a particular web page or social media content. The word has tripled in usage over the course of 2025, their report said. At this point, every single one of us has probably fallen victim to some kind of rage bait. Rage bait doesn't have to be obvious. It can be something as small as wearing different colored socks in a video where your feet are visible. Guaranteed, 99% of the comments underneath that video are going to be about why you're wearing socks that don't match. This leads to more engagement and therefore more views. Rage bait can be, and usually is, anything. Anger is an intense emotion. It makes us act irrationally and impulsively. Rage bait uses that anger to emotionally manipulate you into commenting something without thinking. It's no surprise that creators who rely on rage bait become incredibly popular. They're preying on audiences to get them to react. People are willing to do anything for views. And for some, nothing and no one is off limits, even their own children. You see, when people notice that a video of theirs has done well, if they're smart, they'll look at that video, find out what did well, and try to replicate it. When their own children are the key behind their success, they'll raise the stakes higher and higher, putting their children in more awful, unhealthy, and unsafe conditions in order to continue to get a reaction from viewers. The moms in today's video all started out posting innocent enough videos. One started by posting silly videos of her children to a few hundred viewers. Another posted singing duets of herself, to little success. But when they started posting their bad, to put it lightly, parenting, the views started to go up. People were watching, and they were definitely commenting. Child exploitation on the internet is nothing new, unfortunately. Ruby Frankie, the mother of the 8 passengers' children, was arrested in 2023 for years-long child abuse. To a viewer aware of how child exploitation online works, Frankie's story was sadly not surprising. But to more ignorant viewers, on the surface, the 8 passengers channel seemed completely normal. Frankie and her husband certainly didn't use child neglect as rage bait, despite it occurring behind the scenes. But the moms we're going to be discussing today are the exact opposite. They show what could be considered as neglect publicly, and almost proudly, and the viewers love it, reveling in the anger they feel for these mothers' children. Today we're going to be discussing what happens when parents use their bad parenting for views, and how fat phobia, sexism, and wealth tie into the scandal that these viewers consume on a daily basis. Jerry Springer didn't die. He was reincarnated on TikTok. Laken Huffman is a single working mother with 3 homeschooled sons, one who is around 7, another who is about 9 years old, and an older boy who is in his early teens. Her parents also live with her. In 2025, Laken posted a grocery store haul that garnered over 6 million views. In the video, she shows that she purchased 2 packs of 32 brownies, 2 bags of Cinnamon Toast Crunch, 1 box of oatmeal cream pies, 1 box of black tea bags, 1 Nutri-Grain box, 5 5-pound bags of frozen french fries, 2 cucumbers, 1 head of cabbage, 1 bunch of bananas, 14 pounds of cheese, 1 watermelon, 1 loaf of bread, 2 gallons of mayonnaise, 1 bag of Brussels sprouts, 1 dozen eggs, 16 liters of soda, 2 boxes of Fruit Loops, 1 bag of grapes, 1 bag of Doritos, 40 packs of cheese crackers, 1 box of Oreos, 16 boxes of single-serve mac and cheese, some steak, chicken legs, and pork, and finally, 32 single-person frozen pizzas. All for a grand total of nearly $500. To say that this haul was poorly received would be an understatement. For one, the sheer quantity of food is astonishing. Yes, there's 6 people to feed, but since when did you need 14 pounds of cheese and 2 gallons of mayonnaise to make food for 6 people? Then there's only 5 items of fresh food, 9 if you count the meat. How is that in any way acceptable? Well, a scroll through Laken's profile will reveal some of her reasoning behind why she shops like this. Laken frequently says that all of her children are picky eaters, leading her to cook the same meals for them all the time. The meals more often than not being frozen food or junk food of some kind. Every now and then she'll try something different with fresher foods, but the videos of her feeding her sons frozen pizza or chicken nuggets for their 1000th time always do better in the algorithm. Laken's videos also reveal that for every meal of the day, she makes 3 separate meals for all of her sons. Some days they're picky eaters, and she'll buy pizza for them. Again, some days they have food aversions to anything that isn't junk food. Of course, I have no idea what's really going on in their home. All we can see as viewers is what she decides to post, and that can lead to a lot of assumptions. People under her videos definitely give a lot of unsolicited and offensive advice, but many more are genuinely concerned based on what she decides to post.
Much better, but the pizza situation's gotta go. Son's gotta grow up. Tell him this is the last time you're getting pizza. I just want to know, who the heck do you, Dallas, and anyone else that agrees with him or feels this way, think you are? Who do y'all think you are? Tell him this is the last time you're getting pizza. Tell my son that, because what, you said so? No, absolutely not. I will continue to buy pizzas every single grocery haul, whether you, Dallas, like it or anyone else likes it. Every single time. Does not matter. My son has food sensitivity. We have been dealing with this for most of his life. I don't owe you an explanation, Dallas, and I don't owe anyone else an explanation. I'm not going to discuss my son's issues any further when it comes to his eating habits. I don't care if you disagree with my lifestyle, because it's that's the key word, my lifestyle. I think it's important to remember that you guys just don't know everything.
In response to commenters calling out the choice of food she consistently gives to her kids, Lakin often replies saying something like this: Brayden tried it but couldn't finish it. What I spared you from seeing was him gagging over it. He's awesome at trying things. Very much food aversions here. Last I checked, only their doctor makes that call. Brayden struggles much more than Brantley. They have both come a long way from where this all started. You wouldn't know that because you weren't there and you don't know us. Or maybe I should post the videos of my children actually gagging on food for you. Would that be enough for y'all? This is freaking ridiculous. I assure you 2 of my children suffered with this long before TikTok even existed for me. Not to mention the food therapy. I didn't discuss anything regarding it for a long time because it's not y'all's business. Having a food aversion is very different from being a picky eater though. Both can be difficult to deal with as a parent, if you want your child to eat a healthier and more well-rounded diet like you. But food aversions specifically are hard to manage since it causes distress and often physical reactions like gagging. The child literally cannot stand the texture or taste of the food because they have a sensory aversion to it. A picky eater is usually something that most children go through and then grow out of, whereas food aversions may require professional help and may take years to get over. If a child is avoiding a wide range of foods that's necessary for them to eat for their health, then that is a problem, and problems need to be solved in some way, not reinforced. I'm not saying it's easy, and I'm not saying that I understand it from a parent's perspective, but you shouldn't simply accept that your child will never eat vegetables and only serve them frozen food for all time.
2 of my children, not just 1, 2, struggle with food aversions. 1 is worse than the other, quite a bit worse actually, and he does go to food therapy. We work with him at home. We've been doing that his whole life, encouraging other foods. Pizza is his safe food. Pizza is not going anywhere. But what I need y'all to understand is Brantley, even though he does struggle with food aversions, he also does eat a pretty good variety of foods. He eats a lot of meats. Mostly chicken is his favorite, but he likes chicken. He has tried pork chops. He's tried steak. Those are not his favorite, but he has tried them and has ate them some. He likes fruits like bananas. He's not really big on veggies. He does like green beans and he'll eat a few, but not a lot. Brayden is very limited. He has like 5 or 6 things that he'll eat. But I cannot tell you how much that child has tried and gagged over. And he'll try something more than once. So he'll gag every time. He tries very hard. He wants to like other stuff. Y'all don't understand how difficult this is. In fact, I've tried to improve on things way before TikTok. But I cannot express to you enough how much I love my life. I would choose mine over a life like yours every single day of the week.
From what I'm seeing, I'm not sure Lakin has ever learned healthy eating habits herself, and she may be teaching her poor habits to her kids. I know, I'm not assuming that because she's fat. It's because she's sharing her hauls and meals for all of us to see. Food aversions are very real. But do these aversions mean that everyone in the household needs to go through 16 liters of soda in a few weeks? Or that it's necessary to buy 14 pounds of cheese on top of the 32 pizzas? What are the chances that 2 of her sons happen to have food aversions that make it so they can only eat the junk food that the adults in the family are also okay with eating? Every now and then she cooks vegetables and the kids seem to have no problems with it, yet most of their meals are still frozen and pre-packaged shit. Children with food aversions can branch out sometimes, but often go back to their safe foods, which is, in this case, from what she has shown us, pizza and other frozen food. So maybe that's what's happening with her kids, but I'll never really know. I'll be honest, to an extent, I feel uncomfortable commenting on these things. I believe that some of her kids genuinely have trouble with eating different kinds of foods, and I understand that that can be hard. But to me, it seems like she's not willing to change. Why bother when the videos of your insane grocery hauls and pizza dinner for the 20th night in a row do so well? Lakin has claimed that she tries to introduce new food to her kids, but rarely does she ever talk about this or show it, or make it clear that she is putting an effort in, which I believe is intentional. I'm not saying she needs to share everything with the whole wide world, but she chose to post her children online. She chose to talk about their food sensitivities. She chose to share what is obviously unhealthy eating habits to the entire world. Of course, people are going to ask questions and criticize her. It seems that the entire family doesn't eat balanced diets. Of course, this would trickle down onto the kids. It's not surprising at all that a parent's lack of knowledge and care around nutrition would affect their kids. A lot of time, energy, knowledge, and money is needed to create well-balanced meals 3 times a day. On top of a full-time job and other responsibilities, it can be hard, which I understand. But putting the effort in is the only way to avoid feeding your kids frozen or fast food every day. Lakin's other grocery hauls are mostly the same as her viral video from August. Tons of soda, frozen food, snacks, and limited fresh food you can make full meals with. To an extent, I do think Lakin continues to post these videos because they are rage bait. But I also believe that she genuinely doesn't think that how she's feeding herself and her children is an issue. She stated in a response video before that she doesn't have an issue with how she lives. We do. Clearly. It's true that people get angry when they see kids who seem to be encouraged by their guardians into unhealthy habits. But I think that Lakin's account reveals another issue: how people react to fat people's eating habits. Lakin's and the other mothers' accounts are all a spectacle. One, because they're being bad parents in one way or another. Lakin also admits that she still sleeps in the same bed with one of her sons. But also because they're fat, women, and have the characteristics of white trash. Lakin receives an insane amount of disgusting comments about her body and her children's body. Further reason that she shouldn't post them online, but what do I know? Obviously, eating in this way can make you fat and can keep you that way, but there are people who eat like shit and are still skinny. Obviously, anyone can have unhealthy eating habits, and parents feeding their kids primarily junk food should be called out, regardless of their weight. But we live in a society that still stigmatizes fat people and shames them, though, leading to situations like these where fat moms are turned into a bigger spectacle than their skinny counterparts because they're eating poorly and acting trashy, aka poor. The very fact that these moms' accounts receive the attention that they do is a clear indication to me that people are primarily enraged because they are fat moms feeding their children unhealthy food. People should be concerned about what these kids are eating, not because they think terrible things about their mom's weight, but because kids shouldn't be eating a bunch of frozen foods and soda every day. In 2020, Tufts University reported on a study done by the Friedman School of Nutrition Science and Policy at Tufts University, wherein they found that, despite improvements, most American children had poor diets, with more children with poor diets coming from poorer backgrounds. Of course, most American adults don't meet accepted nutritional guidelines for multiple reasons. The biggest one, living in a capitalist society that doesn't care about preventative healthcare and expects people to manage life along with ridiculous work and pay standards. Treating Americans' dietary issues on an individual level is just hilariously stupid at this point. I can't put all the blame on Lakin because she's part of a system that reinforces this kind of diet. But I can put blame on her for using her kids for content and being clearly unwilling to change for their well-being. About 55% of Americans over the age of 1 get most of their calories from ultra-processed foods. Now, unfortunately, that word has no clear definition and has been weaponized by hypocritical maha idiots to make a case for why we all need to be eating lard daily to be healthy. But generally, ultra-processed is used to describe things like frozen food, fast food, and any food that is high in calories due to artificial additives but low in nutritional value. The word was coined to describe this specific kind of food since processed is entirely too vague and broad. Most of the food we buy is processed in some way. Eating these ultra-processed foods is not a bad thing. Most people eat them sometimes, but when they're a majority of your diet, that's a bad thing. These foods do not fill you up like a fucking stuffed baked potato would. They're high in calories, but unfulfilling, literally and nutritionally, leading people to eat more to compensate for how hungry they are, gaining weight from all the calories, but only shitting once a week, if they're lucky. You should be somewhat vigilant about what you eat. No, you shouldn't punish yourself, starve yourself, or hate yourself. But no one should be going through liters upon liters of soda on their own. It's like the general perspective has shifted from extreme diet culture, which is bad, to now thinking that any sort of restrictive eating is an ED. Not letting yourself eat a shit ton of junk food every day isn't an ED. It's caring about yourself. Yes, some people take it too far and it can turn into that. But most of what people should be eating is nutritionally healthy and not ultra-processed foods. And it's not toxic to say that. It's a balance. Feeding children and teaching them healthy habits can be difficult, as it can be a balancing act of not wanting to restrict them too much while also being aware that they need to eat in a way that supports their health. But Lakin continues to engage in these poor habits, I think, because it gives her a lot of attention. Like I said, it's also unlikely that she herself was ever taught how to eat healthy, seeing what she thinks is okay to feed herself and her children all the time. Nutrition education in the US is poor, to say the least. It's not only lacking, but also unhelpful, as it does not tackle all the nuances of how to make healthy meals and how to create balance in your diet. The education system simply says apples are good, chips are bad, and that's it. While yes, Doritos are obviously not going to replace a freshly cooked healthy meal, a child isn't going to understand all of this at such an impressionable age. They're just gonna think chips are bad, therefore I can't eat chips. The reality is that we can't fix most of our problems as a society while still living in these systems. And Maha's push for more of their idea of nutrition education in schools is definitely not going to fix our issues. This distinction is difficult for many adults to grasp when we've long internalized messages from diet marketing and other sources about the evils of sugar and other foods. But it's developmentally even further out of the reach of children, who tend to be quite concrete thinkers. Nutrition is such a nuanced, complicated, and context-based concept. It's very difficult to drill down into a message for concrete thinkers, said Catherine Zavodny, a dietitian who works with families in Salt Lake City. Lakin struggles with her kids' eating preferences, but from what she shows, it seems like she is consistently choosing the easier option over trying to confront herself and her children about their eating habits. At the end of the day, people are not taught how to prepare easy, cheap, healthy, and tasty meals at home, and it ends up leading to situations like this. If people could simply make home meals with fresh ingredients, that would be exponentially better than relying on takeout or frozen food. But a lot of people don't have access to this for a lot of reasons. While food aversions can amplify this issue, and I sympathize with that, we can't sit here and pretend like that's the only reason everyone in Lakin's house eats unbalanced meals every single meal. As a young kid, I didn't eat the most diverse diet on earth. Most kids in the US don't. My mom bought us a lot of snacks and made easy and bland food until I got a bit older. But it's not like she only fed me frozen food and snacks, or like she never gave me vegetables and fruit. I'm not trying to act sanctimonious, but Lakin's hauls and meals are an extreme that need to be called out. In 2020, it was reported by the Journal of the American Heart Association that encouraging children to make their own decisions about food within a structured environment focused on healthy food choices has been linked to better childhood nutrition and healthier lifelong eating behaviors. Parents and caregivers can play a significant role in creating an environment that helps children develop healthier eating behaviors early in life, which can reduce the risk for overweight, obesity, and cardiovascular disease as adults. What children are being fed and taught to eat does matter. Unfortunately, it's not always easy. But Lakin is posting her struggles for the entire world to see. No, she doesn't deserve hate. But is she really surprised when she gets criticism for what she shows us? It doesn't seem like she's making that much of an effort to get her kids to eat healthier foods more often. In an interview with journalist Virginia Soul Smith, she tells Vox, anytime you start to make food into a power struggle with kids, you're coming up against their need for control. You're really telling them, I should be the one to say what goes in your body. Which is, I think, a really troubling message. I want my kids to be able to say no to broccoli, because I want them to know that their no really matters. I have daughters, and I'm thinking about future sexual situations. But across the board, we want kids to know that at their core, they have a right to body autonomy. They have a right to getting enough food to help them grow. And they have a right to some control around what that looks like. And if you do that, the nutrition piece sorts itself out. While I agree with this to an extent, you also shouldn't allow your kids to eat whatever they want all the time. They're children. They do not know how to eat healthy yet. It's your job to teach them that. And you're going to have to be confrontational in order to do that. Helen Zoe Veit, in her new book, Picky, How American Children Became the Fussiest Eaters in History, writes, when adults believe that children reject food out of innate biological revulsion, it seems obvious that nobody can get children to enjoy food they reject. As a result, insisting that children either eat family meals or leave the table hungry looks like a cruel violation of their bodily autonomy, and even a violation of the ideal of consent. And it's become common to claim that expecting children to eat the same dishes as their parents leads to misery and maladjustment around food. Modern parents have inherited a set of expectations that puts them in an almost impossible position. Many are terrified that no matter what they do, they will somehow hurt their children. The inherent contradictions in trying to be a good parent around food today aren't lost on parents when every meal feels like war between concerns for children's health and desires to make them happy. Lakin isn't the only mom on TikTok who profits off of her kids' poor eating habits. Alexandra Sabel, on top of facing accusations from her own children of physical abuse, went viral for feeding her children powdered donuts for breakfast. The video, which has since been removed from her account, features her plating her 1-year-old's breakfast, which included 3 small powdered donuts and 1 apple squeeze sauce snap. Alexandra is now known online as the Donut Mom for this atrocious video. Like I said, kids can have snacks that don't provide nutritional value. Eating is not supposed to be all or nothing. But this video is not a one-off on her account by any means. Alexandra, more than Lakin, uses a few clear rage bait tactics to keep angry viewers coming back. For one, there's the food content, which I'll get into more, but then there's the other problems. She's always almost upset that she has to feed her kids, throwing the plate onto the counter at the start of every video. She clearly takes no joy in having to make and serve her dependent children. She also purposefully messes up her glasses as the video goes on so that they're extremely crooked by the end, leaving viewers to leave comments like WTF because what the fuck? Like Lakin, Alexandra posts grocery hauls that make viewers concerned and upset. In one video she shows off 3 bags of cheese puffs, 1 bag of shredded cabbage, 48 count of eggs, 6 bags of chocolates and candies, 1 bag of burger buns, 4 bottles of ranch, 4 containers of condiments, some ground beef, chicken, sausage, and pork, about 4 pounds of cheese, a gallon of milk, a pack of sour cream, 2 waffle mixes, 1 thing of syrup, 3 packs of rice, 2 taco kits, 2 things of iced tea mix, 1 bag of potatoes, 2 bags of chicken nuggets, 2 Eggo packages, 3 ice cream containers, more chocolates, 1 bag of grapes, 2 packs of hot dogs and bacon, 1 container of strawberries, more ketchup, instant ramen, and 6 dozen cans of soda. It's certainly reflective of the average American diet, unfortunately. Alexandra herself isn't even an extreme case example, but I think because she plays into her hatred for her children and her own laziness for clicks, add on to that she's a fat woman, her videos go viral more often than a thin and clean creator doing the same would. People enjoy the spectacle of a poor, trashy, fat mom being a bad mom. Alexandra often buys fast food for her kids, or rarely bothers to make them real food for their meals. In an early video of hers, she calls the breakfast she makes a lazy breakfast as a mom of 3. The breakfast? 3 powdered donuts and 1 Go-Gurt pouch. Of course, all of her meals are lazy. In my eyes, she's worse than Lakin, because I believe Lakin does care about her kids, but doesn't understand why what she's feeding them isn't good. Alexandra, though, seems like she actually doesn't give a flying fuck about her children. In multiple videos, her children will be talking to her and she'll either ignore them or snap at them.
My daughter put stickers on my face and my arms.
Yeah.
My daughter put stickers on my face and my arms.
I'm not saying that you have to be on all the time for your kids. Everyone has bad moments, but this is a repeated pattern. It genuinely seems like she hates her own children. In another video, the lunch for her 1-year-old is chips, 2 chicken patties, and about a cup of fries. I'm no expert, but I'm pretty sure that's too much food for a literal baby. And I think she knows this. She knows that this is insane, but is purposefully playing into it in order to go viral. I mean, not understanding healthy eating habits because you weren't taught them is one thing, but no one thinks a 1-year-old can eat that much food. Alexandra often uses the defense that she is low income for why she feeds her kids literal dog shit. At least Lakin admits that she has the money to buy high quality food if she wanted to. I mean, Alexandra doesn't have a lot of money, but she can buy name brand junk food that isn't necessary. In reality, a lot of low income communities are intentionally placed so that the easiest cheap food access is low quality packaged food or fast food. So naturally, these are the options that low income families gravitate towards. Low income families also use junk food purchases as a way to show love for their children who don't have access to other pleasures in life that rich families do. I understand all this, but I think what confuses me about Alexandra specifically is that when my family was at our poorest, my mom fed us chicken soup and pasta all the time. It was cheap and easy, but still offered some nutritional value. When my dad lost his job, the first thing to go was the snacks that my brother and I ate. Snacks like chips, Capri Suns, candy, pretzels, etc. They were too expensive and not necessary for our development. Not only is feeding your kids in this way lacking in so many ways nutritionally, but it's also expensive. In my opinion though, Alexandra is not poor. TikTok doesn't pay as well as YouTube, but it still pays. Alexandra's videos frequently get hundreds of thousands of views, often getting into the millions. Plus, all of her viral videos receive new views every single day, and she's even recently done some brand deals. With places like Temu, of course. In response to a comment under a $25 gift card giveaway she was doing, she admits that just because I have money doesn't mean I will stop feeding them how I want to feed them, saying that when she gets paid, that's when she'll be able to give out the gift card to her audience.
That's my payday, when I will have money to get my kids more food. But just because I have money does not mean I'm going to stop feeding them how I want to feed them.
Okay, so you have the money to not feed them exclusively donuts, but you still do, because why? You hate them? Alexandra loves to pretend that she doesn't feed her kids that poorly, yet every video on her page is her feeding them shit. What do you expect people to think? The thing is, I think she knows what people think, and why they think that. And she's okay with it. Why? Because she's a bad parent using her kids for social media attention.
No, Lindsay, it's not for views. I sure did feed my 1-year-old pizza rolls, fries, and green beans for lunch. I sure did. You know why? Because I'm low income. I don't have a lot of money. I get groceries when I have money, and when they run out of fresh fruit, that's what they get. When they run out of meat for me to cook, that's what they get. The stuff that's in the freezer that they haven't ate all month. I actually have a grocery pickup, and on my grocery pickup today, I'm going to be getting chicken nuggets. And guess what I'm going to feed her for lunch tomorrow? Chicken nuggets. Maybe with a side of fruit. Or maybe with a side of candy, because she's my kid and I'll do what I want to. Come back tomorrow.
A cut article discussed multiple momfluencers who were getting shamed for their parenting habits, including Alexandra after the infamous donut video was posted. The author writes, "There's a general feeling of mothering in a panopticon, and any woman who chooses to post publicly about her experience of motherhood is subject to withering and unrelenting critique from an audience that is more like a jury, assessing the defendant using standards that can change at any given time. But sometimes the allegations of being a bad mom or committing child abuse are prompted by nothing less than a mother having the audacity to document her parenting publicly." Yeah, I don't think that's the case here. Certainly, mothers are judged, especially online, much more harshly than fathers. Bad dad is just dad. But a bad mom is a bad person, a terrible parent. That's part of the reason why I don't think there are as many accounts like these where dads go viral for doing something terrible to their kids. It's just seen as a dad thing. While either way it'd be bad, mothers are criticized more often and more harshly. However, what these mothers are doing isn't just a result of different parenting styles and commenters being too judgy. They are putting their kids' health at risk and profiting off of it. There is a point where people can go too far and be too judgy and nitpicky with others' parenting choices, and that is unacceptable in crossing a boundary. But for the moms who post them being objectively bad parents online, I have a radical idea. Don't share your children's lives online, and no one will have anything to say about it. Why would they do that, though? They can't make any money doing that. Alexandra isn't just feeding her kids poorly. She's forcing her children to live in filth. In a live interview with Mama Drama on TikTok, Alexandra exposed her whole house for the world to see, revealing scum that no child should ever be expected to live with. Dirty clutter everywhere, old bathwater sitting in a tub, dirty toilets, piles of dishes in the kitchen, an environment that no child should live in. Yet commenters, overcompensating for the sexism that does exist between male and female parents, often still praise her for being a terrible mom. "You're doing great, girl." "Girl, don't even bother. You do not know anyone," an explanation for the way you do things in your household. These comments don't pass the vibe check. Good work, mama. "I'm pretty sick of seeing people hate on you. You are awesome and I enjoy your videos." "Hey mama, you don't have to explain yourself to negative people. You keep on doing better." Doing better? Where? Her children live in filth and are fed like dogs. On top of this, as I mentioned earlier, in October, Alexandra was also accused by her own children of physical abuse and by her ex-boyfriend of sexual assault against her own children, which she then accused him of as well, because that's a normal argument to have. Alexandra is, to me, using weaponized incompetence to avoid taking care of her children. She uses her poverty, her depression, and anxiety as excuses for why she feeds her children shit and lets them live in filth. She's a lazy mom, which is code for neglectful mom. There's a difference between struggling as a parent with mental illness, a difference between putting minimal effort in because you're so child, and making your children suffer because you hate them. It's not inspiring content for struggling parents. It's glorified neglect. I mean, what's really more to be said about this woman? We can see for our own eyes that she isn't a good parent. And even if it's an act, it's a damaging one for her children. Stormy Lee is another mom on TikTok who uses her children for views, creating pretend skits that are anything but funny. Like the other moms, she heavily leaves into fat and poor, white trash stereotypes. At the start of her account, she was posting videos centering around herself, but she's not interesting on her own. So as time went on, she began posting about her 3 daughters. Alana, who's about 17 years old, Delilah, who's around 15 years old, and the infamous Ameliyah Rose, age 9, spelt Ameliyyah, because white people. Stormy Lee attempted to go viral multiple times using her older daughters, but the videos never went far. Her older daughters weren't trashy enough, weren't fat enough for the internet to hate watch them. But Ameliyah, she was perfect. People love to hate on a fat, misbehaved child. In a somewhat popular video from around 3 years ago, when Ameliyah was 6, she is recorded ranting about how she has shit all over a part of her Halloween costume.
What do you mean?
Amelia, there's not shit on them. You're not wearing the big ones.
Shit!
Where'd the shit come from?
I don't know.
Is it a kitty shit? No, it's that. Nice try. Put them on.
Probably candy or something else in the bucket.
Put them on. If you want to be a devil, you need the black wings.
No, I want to wear the big ones.
You're not.
No, I do.
Seeing how good her daughter was at acting like a brat for the internet, Stormy Lee took it from there. Tons of videos of Ameliyah have been posted since then. In every single video, she acts like a spoiled, disrespectful brat. In one video, Ameliyah is shopping in Target for makeup. Her mom records her calling the makeup old lady shit and basically ordering her mom around the store.
You see this?
Yeah.
Where's makeup?
We're at Target. So where do you want to go?
Ulta. Why didn't you take me to Ulta? This is old lady shit.
A recent video is Ameliyah being disrespectful to her mom for not picking her up from school and making her walk home from school. The school that is right across the road. It's all clearly an act. Ameliyah also acts incredibly ungrateful. In one video, ripping up a $100 bill and complaining because her mom didn't get her the newest AirPods. Another, she's using a new iPad as a cutting board. Stormy Lee just stands there and records Ameliyah, never correcting her daughter's behavior. Instead, just standing by as her daughter walks all over her. I wonder why. Maybe it's because it's all for views? It doesn't matter though. Not only is she teaching her daughter that it's okay to treat people like this, because it's not just her mom being disrespected in their skits, it's innocent bystanders like DoorDash drivers. Stormy Lee is also exposing her daughter to the worst kind of hate at the age of 9. People don't know that these videos are fake, posted for rage bait. They only see a rude little girl and run with it. Viewers repeatedly post pictures of belts under the videos, saying choose one. And popular searches under these videos are ones like, Ameliyah finally gets the belt. Under the AirPods video, one person comments, she can't touch her toes and she's calling you a peasant. Interesting. Ameliyah, a 9-year-old girl, repeatedly gets intense comments like these, fat shaming her. People post photos of fat and ugly people, comparing her to them and shaming her for her looks. At the age of 9, 5 things Ameliyah needs, and it's vegetables, slip-on shoes, and a belt. 122,000 likes. Imagine growing up, knowing that your mom used you for her skits and seeing millions of people calling you ugly and begging for you to get abused. Fuck Ameliyah. My mom just slapped me because she couldn't reach Ameliyah. You don't need to scroll far to find worse comments than these. Just kill her, that fucking bitch. 1,400 likes. Ameliyah, I hope you get fucking raped and killed. 200 likes. You think her mom doesn't see these comments? No. She does, and she doesn't give a flying fuck. Stormy Lee sees this. Thousands of people wishing violence on a 9-year-old girl, her daughter. It doesn't matter how rude Ameliyah is. Not only is it not real, but children don't deserve violence for being rude to their parents. But the darkness behind Stormy Lee doesn't end there. In December of 2022, Stormy Lee Ashley Pence was booked in Buchanan County, Virginia for second-degree felony assault. She was also arrested by Michigan's Monroe County Sheriff's Office. Ashley lives in Michigan, but she, her husband and oldest daughter, and her boyfriend stalked the victim and crossed state lines into Virginia to violently beat her up. You see, Ashley used to run this fake and stupid TikTok family called the Stormtroopers, and the victim, Bethany, was part of this family until late 2022. When she began to feel disconcerted at the way Ashley was conducting herself and her children online, she left. As punishment, Ashley drove with her husband, her daughter, and her boyfriend 7 hours to have 2 minors beat up a girl on her behalf, finishing the job once they were done. I can't even begin to explain not only how awful this is, but truly just how absurd it is. Ashley was released from jail in early January 2023 and was out on 5 years probation instead of what was originally supposed to be 10 years probation. Towards the end of 2024, Ashley started shifting some of her content to focus on fake arguments between her and her male partner, because you have to try to get views wherever you can, calling him a narcissist and a bad husband, leading to hundreds of people commenting in support of her. Ashley was also posting videos begging people to comment whose side they were on after she'd post their fights online.
I don't have to go to my fucking room. You don't tell me to go to my fucking room and kick my mom out and tell me it's time for me to go to bed.
It's time for her to go.
I'm 37 years old.
Hey, she wasn't getting a hint, so I had to tell her.
You don't tell me when to go to my room. You don't tell my mom that she has to leave my house. This is my house and I'm an adult. You're not my father.
Whether or not these are real, I'm not sure, but knowing her history, it's unlikely that they are. The few videos Ashley posts that are not rage bait never do well. She knows what works, and she's willing to fake abuse and put all of her children on blast in order to get views and make money. Every one of these women weaponizes social stigma against mothers, fat people, poor people, and people with mental illness in order to create rage bait that plays into white trash stereotypes. I think this, and the exploitation of their children for rage bait, makes them a unique kind of scum from the momfluencer side of the internet. These children are going to grow up with long-lasting negative effects of their parents' selfish and poor parenting choices. Not only are they exploiting their own children, but they are exploiting harmful stereotypes about marginalized people in order to get more clicks, creating lasting damage online for these groups, because when it comes to marginalized people, one bad apple makes the rest of the bunch sour. People can beg for these women to do better every single day, but they never will. As long as they are still able to post and make money from the horrible mistreatment of their children, they will continue doing it, because rage is currency online. I haven't been surprised in a long time. Using bad parenting for rage bait is just the natural progression of things online. I mean, a mom posted her 3-year-old daughter sucking on a pickle for the whole world to see and got away with it. Well, that's it for me, and that's it for this video. Let me know what you thought about this video and the topic of it. What do you think about these parents online? Comment down below anything you want to comment down below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you like me, you can subscribe. I post videos about whatever I feel like talking about, so if that sounds like your thing, make sure to subscribe and turn a notification bell so you know when I post a video. I'd like to give a shout out to my Patreon members who are part of my Alpha and Delta tiers. Thank you so much to Manny Spetcher, Liz Batreaux, and Shula Cooper. I truly appreciate your continued support. It means a lot to me. Thank you so much. Thank you to all of my Patreon members. If you want to become a member, the link will be down below. I post a lot of good exclusive content on Patreon, so please, if you're able to, check it out and consider becoming a member. Anyway, I really hope you all enjoyed this video. More importantly, I really hope I see you in the next video. You're gonna be there, right?